Ahead of the now redundant annual renewal of illegal economic sanctions on Zimbabwe by the United States this week, some opposition political parties are frenziedly stage-managing the violence that was witnessed in Kwekwe recently to cast the ruling party in bad light, Zanu PF spokesperson Chris Mutsvangwa said. As expected, Western embassies, namely the European Union and the United States, have become the judges and the jury by apportioning the blame to Zanu PF even as investigations into the matter are still underway. This is against a background that the Citizens Coalition for Change, CCC, led by Mr. Nelson Chamisa, has been inciting its followers to take the law into their hands. In a statement yesterday, Mutsvangwa equated Mr. Chamisa to Mwaz who collaborated with imperialists and sold out the late founding leader of the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, Patrice Lumumba. The local embassies of the EU and the USA have in cohesive symphony jumped to issue identical statements that strive to frame Zanu PF for the heinous violence orchestrated by CCC in Kwekwe and actually commanded by Nelson Chamisa, their servile and mercenary-minded puppet in the mold of Mwaz, said Mutsvangwa. Since the turn of the millennium, Zimbabwe has been under baneful sanctions imposed by the US, the United Kingdom and the EU as punishment for the land reform program meant to address historical land iniquities. At the instigation of the MDC, that has now morphed into CCC, the sanctions have been ritually renewed especially by the US, while the EU has been steadily relaxing the measures. In the opposition handbook, international events are often preceded by stage-managed events that portray Zimbabwe negatively, as was the case in Kwekwe the weekend. No surprise here, as it is the month of February. There is that annual ritual of the renewal of 2 decades of ZERA sanctions. It is evident that the Kwekwe incident of violence was a stage-managed false flag operation. The quarry, as usual, is their much-loathed Zanu PF, the party of the revolution. Its original sin being its history of rendering a blood military nose to a white minority Rhodesian outpost of settler rule, colonial rampage, racism and apartheid, said Mutsvangwa. He added that Western countries with their false sense of superiority have never reconciled themselves to the politico-military victory Zanu PF in 1980. As such, the US, through its Congress, has designated Zimbabwe as a threat to its foreign policy. With the war in Ukraine, it is not as if the Aryan Brotherhood of Europe and North America do not have enough problems on their hands. They are back to their favorite pastime of fratricidal warfare. For more than 2 decades, a compromised opposition has held sway with the urban voter, riding on the evil sanctions, specifically ZERA, Zimbabwe Democracy and Economic Recovery Act of 2001, and mirror punitive economic measures by the European Union. However, under President Mnangagwa rule, the country has made enormous strides in rebooting relations with formerly hostile nations through its re-engagement and engagement policies.
I'm the straight